Ukraine, a nation with a rich cultural and historical legacy, has been at the center of significant human rights challenges due to its ongoing conflicts with Russia. Internal political changes and economic instabilities are few. Even before the 2014 crisis, issues such as corruption, weak governance, discrimination, and restrictions on civil liberties hindered the country's progress towards achieving a fully democratic society. However, the situation deteriorated sharply following the annexation of Crimea by Russia and the subsequent armed conflicts in eastern Ukraine. These events not only triggered widespread displacement and civilian suffering, but also exacerbated long-standing problems such as freedom of expression, minority rights, and judicial accountability.
One of the most blatant violations in the Ukraine war has been the deliberate targeting of civilians and civilian infrastructure. International humanitarian law, as outlined in the Geneva Conventions, prohibits attack on non-combatants. However, reports from the international organizations such as Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch have documented widespread attacks on residential area, hospitals, schools, and evacuation corridors. The use of explosive weapons in densely populated areas has resulted in thousands of civilian deaths and injuries, with many survivors grappling with psychological trauma. The war has also displaced millions of Ukrainians, leading to one of the largest refugee crises in recent histories. Women, children, and elderly have undergone forced displacement, with many fleeing to neighboring countries under harrowing conditions. Refugees face challenges such as inadequate shelter, limited access to healthcare, and the risk of exploitation and trafficking. Internally displaced persons within Ukraine are often trapped in conflict zones, lacking basic necessities and medical aid. Another horrifying aspect of the conflict is the use of sexual violence as a weapon of war. Reports from the United Nations and other human rights organizations indicate that women and girls have been subjected to sexual violence by combatants. Such acts aim to terrorize communities, break social cohesion, and instill fear. Survivors face significant stigma, often deterring them from seeking justice or support. Ukrainians have also raised significant concerns on violation of prisoners' rights. International law mandates the humane treatment of prisoners of war, including providing them with adequate food, medical care, and protection from violence. However, there have been reports of torture, summary executions, and forced labor, exacerbating the already dire humanitarian crisis. The international community has a critical role in addressing human rights violations in Ukraine. Efforts by organizations like the International Criminal Court and United Nations Human Rights Council to investigate and document war crimes are commendable. However, these initiatives require robust support, including funding, political will, and cooperation from states. Sanctions against perpetrators, support for refugees, and the provision of humanitarian aid are immediate steps that can alleviate suffering. Long-term measures include strengthening international frameworks to prevent impunity and fostering a global culture of accountability.
Despite the adversity, Ukraine has shown resilience by striving for reforms, engaging with international institutions, and advocating for justice and accountability. The crisis has also highlighted the critical role of global corporations in addressing human rights violations, providing humanitarian aid, and supporting displaced communities. Moving forward, achieving long-term stability and justice in Ukraine will require sustained efforts to address the root cause of these violations, strengthen democratic institutions, and ensure the protection of all citizen rights, especially in conflict-affected regions. This ongoing struggle serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of upholding human rights in the face of political, social, and geopolitical challenges.